WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Engineers say it's no longer a matter of if the Oktibbeha County Lake Dam will break, but when.
A voluntary evacuation has been issued for more than 200 people who live near Riviera Road and Walter Bell Road. Engineers spotted a mudslide on County Lake Road, meaning the levee could breach. Our Cash Matlock joins us live from the lake with more on the story tonight. Cash.
Guys, I'm standing here on the levee right next to the area in question. Now, county engineers, they discovered issues during an impromptu inspection early Tuesday morning, and ever since then, they've been on high alert.
Those areas will be inundated within minutes. This is not, you'll see water tomorrow or the next day or the next day. You've got a tremendous volume of water here. It's going to leave here in a hurry if this dam breaks.
Oktibbeha County engineer Clyde Pritchard says the lake's water level has risen over a foot since Tuesday. This excess water puts a strain on the levee. The potential for more heavy rainfall this week puts a strain on dam engineers.
Very little rainfall makes a dramatic rise in the lake. So if we get 3 to 5 inches, we could expect several feet of increase in the lake level.
Pritchard says the same spot on the levee almost filled in 2017.
The prior slide, again, was about 11 to 1,200 feet in length. It was on the lake side as opposed to the back side, where it sheared literally to the center line of the roadway.
Engineers say issues with the dam could be from its original construction coupled with erosion.
The criteria we have for dams, particularly high hazard dams now, is a lot different than it was when these lakes were built, probably back in the 60s.
District 3 Supervisor Marvell Howard says a breach could affect up to 250 people.
We do want people to realize that this is potentially a dangerous situation, and that we want them to always be ready if we make that call to go ahead and evacuate and not wait around.
If seepage and mudslides continue, that call could come sooner than later.
We're monitoring this slide, and we've set somewhat benchmarks for levels, elevation-wise or plan-wise, say advancing up into the roadway, that if it reaches those, we're going to ask the local law enforcement, Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Gladney to initiate a mandatory evacuation.
Engineers are doing everything they can to lower the water level of the lake and reduce the strain on the levee. Now, they are monitoring this situation almost hourly. We're going to have updates on those on this situation as it becomes available. Now, county supervisors, they have known that there have been issues with this area for about 4 years now. Now, for the past few weeks, there have been talks of totally reconstructing the dam. Now, right now, the dam stretches more than 4,000 feet. And it's up to the state to approve rebuilding the dam. If that happens, work could start as soon as 3 months from now.
The dam would be taken down almost to the virgin soil. The spillways would be rebuilt. The auxiliary spillways would be rebuilt. A complete reconstructive effort.
I'm hoping it doesn't take another 4 years in a catastrophic event for us to finally do something. But in my opinion, it's time to let's think about the safety of the people and do what we need to do to protect them.
County leaders are talking to representatives with Senator Roger Wicker's office, as well as representatives from the Department of Agriculture as far as those rebuilding plans. We're also going to have more information on that as it becomes available. But for now, reporting in Oktibbeha County, Cash Matlock, WCBI News.
All right, Cash, thanks so much for that report tonight. 3 people were killed by a tornado in Pickens County Saturday, but a baby was not among them thanks to a quick-thinking teenager. The damage, as you can see, still visible days later, and it will take a long time for life to get back to normal in Carrollton. But one family has a lot to be thankful for, especially 17-year-old Delea Jones. She headed out with her uncle just minutes after the storm to check on neighbors. While they were riding a four-wheeler looking for anybody who needed help, she heard a woman screaming. The mother was in a field and her baby was hurt. Delea stepped in to help.
Just ran out there. The baby wasn't moving or anything. I did what I knew how to do, just put my skills to use, just to start giving the baby chest compressions. It cried for a minute, didn't stop, so I, just kept doing CPR.
And in addition to the 3 people who died, 2 children and 3 adults were hurt, but they are expected to be okay.
Going back to the dam issue there in Oktibbeha County, there's the lake right here. We still have a flash flood warning that continues to be extended here now until 7:45 this evening. But as long as that dam is a problem, it looks like that could be an issue indefinitely here. But just to the northwest of Starkville, that's where that flash flood warning is. We have rain breaking out here in the Winona area. And guess what? This rain, these showers and storms moving from west to east right along 82. Some of that may get into the Starkville area later on this evening, in addition to some additional rain across most of the area later on this evening and tonight, too. We have a frontal boundary just to our north, and notice how we'll have some showers and storms around. Maybe an isolated strong storm. Most spots won't see any strong activity, but rain is certainly possible tonight. This evening, mild, 60s through midnight. Rain and storms possible, 40s and 50s when we wake up. I'm back with your full forecast coming up.
A short pursuit in downtown Columbus turns into two arrests. The chase ended around 10th Street and 3rd Avenue North about 5:20 this evening. Lowndes County narcotics agents say they were investigating a drug case and attempted to pull someone over. That's when the pursuit started. The names of the two people arrested and any possible charges have not been released. More information could be released tomorrow.
The chairman of the Lee County Democratic Party was arrested at his home and charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson says deputies were called to the home of Jamie Franks Tuesday morning. A teenage caller said 3 adults at the home were drinking and the teenager was fearful. The sheriff says deputies made contact with Franks, a woman, and Lee County Judge James Moore. Johnson said it appeared that all 3 were intoxicated. During questioning, Johnson says Franks chest bumped a deputy and was arrested. The woman was also arrested for failing to comply and resisting arrest. Both were released from jail a short time later. All charges are misdemeanors. Sheriff Johnson says investigators are still looking into the case.
A bill introduced in the legislature could mean a bigger paycheck for Mississippi workers if passed. The Mississippi Minimum Wage Act would establish a state minimum wage. Mississippi does not currently have a state minimum wage. It follows the federal minimum. The legislation calls for the state rate to start at $7.50 this year, and that number would eventually rise to $10 an hour by 2023. The current federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Now, this proposal would have to make it out of committee before the full state Senate could vote on the measure. This legislation isn't expected to gain much traction in Jackson.
Well, the state currently has a surplus in its rainy day fund, and if that money runs out, one lawmaker wants to make sure education is not impacted. Senate Bill 2046 calls for no mid-year cuts to the Mississippi Adequate Education Program. If the governor decides budget cuts are needed for state agencies to balance the budget, this bill would prevent MAEP from being touched. The state constitution requires the governor to maintain a balanced state budget. A state Senate committee has not taken up the legislative proposal. No vote, of course, has been taken.
A local elementary school gets the highest rating possible in state rankings for academic achievement. Houston Upper Elementary School received an A ranking for the first time. Those rankings are the most recent statewide scores. It was also the first school in the district to get the coveted honor. Principal Trevor Hampton says it takes a team effort from teachers, faculty, and students, and he challenges everyone to set bigger goals and work hard to reach them.
We started with a mindset that A rating was achievable. Like I said, it's something never been done, so why not us? Why not us be the first? We just focus on high quality teaching and learning every day in class.
Hampton says the goal is to help the district achieve an A ranking.
Well, the Christmas decorations are down mostly, Scott Martin. New Year's has passed, and that means it's time for tax season. I had to call him out.
Quite the change from Christmas to tax season. Well, we have what you need to know to get started when we come back.
Watching WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. Tax season is approaching. The first day you can file your taxes, January 27th.
Hooray. Nobody looks forward to this. Well, in less than 2 weeks, the rush begins as folks go to the professionals or try to file their returns on their own. Our Stephanie Poole joins us live in the studio on what you need to do, keep in mind before getting started. Stephanie?
Yes, preparing your tax returns can be a real hassle for most people, but here are a few tips to make it easier and less hectic.
January brings in two things, the start of a new year and tax return season. But before you file your taxes, expecting a big payday, there are a couple of things you need to get together.
Form of ID, a driver's license, or Mississippi State photo ID, or whatever state they may be from, along with their Social Security card. And also, if they've got children, they need to bring the information on all their children.
Tax preparer Billie Jean McNeil says to make a list of the jobs you held in 2019. Leading up to tax season, you should get those W-2 forms in the mail.
They need to make sure they've got all their documents, including all their W-2s. Sometimes they may forget about a W-2, and when that happens, you wind up having to amend your tax return.
One of the easiest mistakes is forgetting winnings such as the lottery, which just started a short time ago in Mississippi. So this is something new you'll have to look out for when filing. McNeil says if you don't report it, you will face the consequences.
When you get something like that, they also send one to the Internal Revenue Service. And you may not hear from the IRS for quite some time, but they do have a matching program, and they match what's reported to the IRS to your return. So it's important that you try to get everything on your tax return that's been reported to the Internal Revenue Service.
And he's urging taxpayers to protect all their information by only trusting tax preparers and online services they used before.
But I would be skeptical of doing business online on websites that you're not familiar with, because you don't need to be divulging that personal information like your Social Security number, dates of birth, and bank accounts or anything like that that could be out there for the wrong people to get their hands on.
And for more information about forms or about tax season, you can visit our website at wcbi.com.
All right, thanks so much, Stephanie. And we are looking forward to a taxing weather forecast here. Lots of rain headed our way.
Some rain, some more rain, some changes temperature-wise, and we've had these river flooding issues here. We still have them. Things will be improving by Monday. Let's talk about the 10 time at the Stanislaus Dam in Columbus. We've actually gone down 2 feet since this morning, now about 154, and we will continue that descent. So things will be improving here as we dry it out. We'll talk about it coming up.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Big time changes coming to our temperatures as we look ahead here. Relatively mild through Saturday, and then we fall back down below average for a change. What's that? Well, the average low in mid-50s. We should see highs in the 40s. Some of you could stay in the upper 30s early next week, so get ready for a little bit of a chill. Today, the clouds in place in Tupelo. That's our Alpha Insurance camera network. But our temperatures today well into the 70s. We have more rain on radar. Let's zoom on in here. Winona just to your east near Kilmichael, east of Duck Hill, and east of Grenada now. Across our western counties, some showers with some embedded thunder and lightning. Also lining up right along Interstate 40 from Arkansas into West Tennessee. Some showers and thunder showers. We have this level 1 risk for some severe weather this evening. Isolated storms with gusty wind and or hail, a minor threat for us, but I think overall we won't see too much of that. We still may see pockets that could get an inch or more. Let's just hope it avoids those areas really ravaged by the heavy rain of late. But again, more rain possible tonight. We wake up in the 50s. We are looking at temperatures all day long in the 50s, mostly cloudy. Some isolated showers possible early, but in general, a dry day for us. And we'll take it after the wet weather we've had. So widespread 50s here for our day tomorrow. That's the way it's looking. And that's closer to where we should be for this time of year. Not like this, upper 60s to low 70s in the region. But notice St. Louis and Kansas City and points north, much, much cooler. And that cooler air is coming our way. So out with the warm and in with the cooler weather early next week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 40s. Overnight lows getting down into the 20s and teens. This is just one example. Tuesday morning, low 20s, maybe some upper teens here. It is going to be chilly, even with a little bit of a breeze. The wind chill factor could be even worse than that. So winter is coming on back here. This evening, though, mild 60s, extensive cloud cover, batches of showers and thunder showers around. They will line up along a cold front right here by late this evening. and then that will move south by the time we wake up in the morning. So the rain should be mainly done by the time you get ready for the commute. 50s in the south in the morning, maybe some 40s up north. But as we go throughout the course of our Thursday, more clouds than anything else. Temperatures in the 50s, perhaps even cooler tomorrow night. And then we stay with the clouds on Friday, an isolated shower, more 50s. Our next front there Saturday. Here it comes. We'll have a little bit of rain, maybe a thunder shower, but no severe weather anticipated before that colder air blasts back on in here. So here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. We will go with mostly cloudy conditions for Thursday and Friday. Temperatures in the 50s. There's that rain chance on Saturday. The second half of the weekend will have no problems, but just cooler weather here with highs in the 40s Sunday into next week.
Cooler, 19.
Ready for it, though.
A little bit cooler.
Yeah, when I was in Michigan last week, we had one day where the high was 21. So I'm looking forward to this cooler weather here.
It's like back at home.
Yeah,
isn't it?
why not?
Yeah, you brought it back with you.
It is January.
That's
Exactly.
true. It is.
Two of Mississippi State's biggest stars make a decision on their future. More on what's next for Kylan Hill and Errol Thompson next in sports.
WCDI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
It's been a whirlwind of a month for Mississippi State football. Joe Moorhead fired the first week of the month. Week after that, John Cohen announces Mike Leach as the newest head coach. And 1 week after that, the Bulldogs get the news that two of its top players will be returning to campus in 2020. First team All-SEC running back Kylan Hill and linebacker Errol Thompson back with the Bulldogs for the 2020 season. The Columbus native Hill originally chose to go pro, but will be back for newly hired head coach Mike Leach this upcoming year. Hill led the SEC in rushing yards during the regular season in 2019. Thompson finishing in the top 15 in the conference in total tackles with 84, and was a team captain this past season. Mississippi State finally able to get the monkey off their backs. The Bulldogs picking up its first SEC win Tuesday against Missouri. In the slump-busting performance, there may not have been a better sign for Ben Howland's bunch than having Tyson Carter back looking like his old self. In the 3 straight losses to open conference play, Carter shot 18% from the field, including 2 for 11 from beyond the arc. In the Bulldogs' beatdown in Missouri, Carter shot 50%, scoring 15 points, adding 7 assists with only 1 turnover. Ben Howland says Tyson's offensive production is what the Bulldogs have been missing.
I told him, yesterday we talked about, our roles. I mean, we need him to come in and be instant offense. That's what he's been for us his whole career. And whether he's starting or coming off the bench, he played, I think, if not the most minutes, right up there with anybody else, and played great. And so I'm really excited because obviously we're so much better offensively when he's playing to his level like he played tonight.
Carter's 15 points last night, which also happened to be his birthday, put him past his dad, Greg Carter, on the all-time scoring list for Mississippi State history. The father-son duo also became the first father-son duo in SEC history to both score more than 1,000 career points. After losing 6 seniors off last year's team, many people weren't expecting the Columbus Lady Falcons to be a force this season. But the Falcons continue their dominance in Region 5A, led by our athlete of the week, senior guard Ania Sadler. Sadler is the switchblade for the Falcons as she leads the team in scoring and steals this season, but can also distribute the rock. In their matchup versus Grenada, Sadler had a whopping 31 points, 10 boards, 7 steals, and 5 assists. It was her second double-double of the year. She says she sets out not only to get buckets, but to also be the Falcons' lockdown defender.
Coach always tells us to get in good defense position so you won't get any fouls. So that's why I would just focus on being in the right position, able to get them steals. I was expecting to do good, but not to be like this good. But I'm happy that I am player of the week. Thank you for choosing me.
Sadler continues to be a nightmare for opponents on both sides of the ball. She had 23 points and 8 steals versus Center Hill last night.
Wow.
Not a bad stat line.
Not at all.
Not at all. And you talked about the news out of Mississippi State. Everybody's excited about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are just asking for the fast forward button to get to football season already.
They're ready,
so
yeah.
August or September.
No, but Joey needs his
June.
baseball first.
Yeah.
Can't miss baseball.
Hey, baseball's going to be big. Yeah?
That's right.
All right, we'll be right back.
WCBI Sports Player of the Week is brought to you by C Spire and Canon. Nobody had a better game than this Player of the Week, and nobody beats a Canon deal. Nobody.
More rain out there, just what we don't need. That will be coming from west to east here, and then this front moves on through, and that will dry things out a little bit for the next 2 days. More rain possible Saturday, and winter's back Sunday and next week.
It is definitely back.
You're ready.
Are you excited about winter
No,
coming back?
the 19 is awful, Keith. Get that out of here.
Michigan against Florida.
Right.
Here we go.
That's exactly what that is. Thanks for joining us, everybody.